Hello, everyone. I'm Rihanna Yusuf, your host for On Your Breath podcast. Welcome back to our season 2. And for those of you who may be new here, my first season of 9 episodes actually made it to top 25 most followed podcasts in the world. So I'm so happy, thrilled, and grateful. And today I especially invite Bunny Yan to open my second season, especially just because I've got a list of people that I invited to speak on my podcast. But when I spoke to Bunny Yan, see, my hair already stood. She just had this breath of fresh air. She's so refreshing, so daring, so free, and I love it. Never met her before, by the way. So I actually invited her partner to speak on my podcast, and her partner told me, "You love my girlfriend." So with us today, Bunny Yan. So Bunny,
What's up, everybody?
yeah, introduce yourself for us. She's a woman of so many talent.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bunny, and I coin myself as a fashion edutainer. I'm one of the leading expert in fashion sustainability, and I'm about to have my own TV series. Very excited, developing this year. But I don't think I'm here to talk about my fashion and my career. I talk about my other interests today, right?
Yes, the main reason I invited, it's like Bunny has so many interesting parts of her. Like I was like telling her, I don't know which one we should be talking first. So however, we come to an agreement that we are going to talk about sex. I'm really intrigued, really blown away by her perspective and freedom of how she perceives sex. So Bunny, thank you for agreeing to come with me. Like literally, within short notice. I really appreciate that. So tell me, what do you think of sex? What's your take on sex?
Oh, I absolutely love talking about that topic because there's just so much things about sex. Like as much we see it on TV, like we like read it in romance novel. A lot of I guess real life practice. Most of us either shy, lack of experience, or lack of communication. And I just feel like even been around sex tag. I worked in a sex toy company and all of that. Every single time that topic come up, I'll still giggle. I still love people's like sex successful or fail story. We still, between our girlfriends and guy friends, chat about what happened and giggle about it. It's just a very, very fun aspect of human nature to chat about. Yeah. I'm kind of into that.
I love it. I love it. I love that you're into it. And I love sex myself. Probably in no comparison to you, but by the stories that you
There's no measuring stick. There's no measuring stick.
I know. But it's just that I just love your stories. It inspires me. Yeah, I do enjoy sex, and I feel there's so much taboo around it. And then just because I like to talk about it openly sometimes to my friends, and sometimes you can be perceived in a certain way, which shouldn't be the way. There's a lot of topic like mental health, sex, money, grieving. These are all subjects people don't talk so much as we should. It makes them uncomfortable. And I especially, I find it quite mind-boggling that there are actually many people that haven't even masturbated yet, ever.
I know. I have met some. Quite shocking. Yeah. Like almost like there's a part of your body like you have never able to experience yourself. It's like, oh, okay. It's like again, sex. Unless of course it's against like law. There's so much like things like different kinks, different way, different hormone balance, like if you're into it, not into it, asexual, sexual, that it just all varies. But sometimes it wasn't because like you are asexual, just it could be like lack of educational system, especially in China. Like there's no sex ed, you
Yeah.
kind of just like learn from friends, and a lot of time you could learn it wrong. Like I remember
Oh,
when I 14, 15, not until a good friend told me about it. I never even thought of like, hey, let me grab a mirror to see exactly what my vajayjay looks like.
yeah.
It just didn't cross my mind. So like I totally get it. Like how you can,
How old did you do that?
not see it missing, but huh?
How old did you do that when you took a mirror?
14, 13, 14. I
That's
mean,
still,
like I moved from China to US when I was 12, right? So made friends, like good girlfriends, and we have sex ed, but it's just really telling you about the reproduction system. Like you don't talk about orgasm, you don't talk about consent back then, you don't talk about like what's the right way, wrong way, asking for like what each person like. You just like, here is what a penis looks like with balls, right? And not even lot about clit and vagina and central point either. It's very, very
vague.
scientific diagram instead of like
Yeah.
human, behavior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I totally agree. Well, I only, took a look at maybe in my 30s. I mean, as much as I was active in it, but it still didn't come across my mind to take a look at it. Like, it's probably my,
Right? You don't think about it.
yeah, exactly. Until,
I wonder if it's the same thing with the guy side too, because I know about female side and chatting with friends, right? I wonder if like most guys, do they just take a
I think they
mirror
look at it
and just
more.
look? You think so? I'm
Because
not
it's much easier
sure.
for them if they just stand in front of a mirror. It's there, it's dangly right there. It's impossible not to see. For us,
But no, that's different. That's different. That's different. Because
mhm,
like we can stand in front of the mirror and see the outside, like the frontal outside of it, right? But like to really take a hand mirror and for
right,
guys to flip up, underside, left, right, to see your whole genitalia. It's a very different experience than like, oh, swinging around in front of mirror and playing elephant, right? It's very, very different. Mhm.
that's true. I only remember that because I used to be in fashion as well, so I've got a lot of measuring tape in my place. So one of my friend, a meditation teacher actually, he asked me, "Do you have an extra measuring tape?" I said, "Yes, I do. What do you need it for?" "I want to measure that part." What? I said, "Well, yeah." So I gave it to him, and he's in his 40s. Yeah. So, and
And he never measured it.
think so. Well, otherwise, why would he ask me, right? Yeah. So, but and I like it.
I
It's
don't know.
funny.
He might be able to hinting something,
Oh, no,
that
no,
could
no. He's
happen.
gay. He's gay. Fully pledged gay, like
Oh,
straight
okay.
gay. But or maybe he just want to reconfirm again in his 40s. But he's very, very active though. um. So we were talking about masturbation, right? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, here's the thing. I strongly think everybody should masturbate. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody should be able to make themselves happy, and then you can make others happy. I'm a strong believer of that. If I just rely on someone um, to make me happy in any level, that puts so much stress on the other person.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm not saying people should be masturbating left, right, center, but I think everything you should be doing it enough. I mean, it is pleasure. Pleasure is forgotten in our modern world because we're so busy chasing um, chasing so many things, instant gratification. Although masturbation is instant gratification, but it's a form of energy being released, which is sacred in a way. What do you think?
Or it just fucking feels good. You should do shit that feels good. I totally agree. Like, not that I think everybody should have allowed to masturbate if they choose to do so. You know, there's no stigma like around like shame or any kind of
Shame, yes, yes, yes.
restriction. Yeah. Because again, like there's a spectrum of like different hormone level, right? And yeah, I do agree. Masturbating is very, very fun for me. I pretty much would write it down as a hobby because like I do enough of that.
I know. I'm
With hands, with toys, you know, with various well, not with various technique. Like I have my set because like every girl's different. We all masturbate differently. And
what are the different?
I particularly
Yeah, go on.
Okay. I particularly,
Yeah.
I can only really come easily if one leg straight, one leg bend. It's just like,
Oh, okay.
it's so weird. Yeah. Like, and also I don't do penetration. I do like clitoris stimulation. For me, I can't really come like with penetration with partner. It'll take fucking forever. But like, I do enjoy, you know, penetration and the sex part. But masturbation and orgasm is two different feelings. I like them both. Like I'm one of those, I don't need to like have to get an orgasm at the end because like sex is, you know, very, very pleasurable for me. Yeah. But with my own time, you know, I can just like do it whenever. Like I would do it like sometimes just have the mood when I'm watching memes. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna masturbate now. Sometimes my partner go like, I don't even know how you can be watching memes and still masturbate and still come. I'm like, no, it feels good, and just, you know, go ahead with it, and you know, in your daily life, and just like, I just want one of my hands to be touching my clit, right? Yeah, and I know my other friends can only do it with belly laying down, which I find that so hard because you're laying on your hand.
Belly lying down. Wow.
Yeah.
So how would
And
you
with the
be
pillow
doing it
between her
then?
legs. Huh?
Sorry? Sorry, what did you say?
And with the pillow between her legs.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So she's grinding it on the pillow.
That too, right? But like, you know, I personally can't really do it with face down.
Yeah.
I sometimes I try with my left hand, does not have the same rhythm as my dominant hand. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Well, there's something that you may want to try. So what I realized, I mean, being someone that, you know, I masturbate heavily amount as well. So I realized when I do that, then I wouldn't be able to come with a man. However, if I'm going to start a relationship with someone, so I will stop masturbating. When I stop at least a week, I actually will be able to come with him. I think, give it a try. I think because we are so used to our own rhythm and technique, so you need this space like a detox from our technique to allow the other person to be more open for the other person's technique to embrace. And of course, there's always guidance and coaching involved.
In my case, like there's a lot of females who cannot come on penetration.
That's true.
It's
That's
just everybody
true.
wired differently. Yeah. Not much detox. I think like there's one time I'm trying to see, because like female can do multiple orgasms, right? Like a lot easier. Like there are fewer guys who can, but mostly female could do it. I think the most I have done in one session, like just like with few breaks in the middle, but just keep on going, is 9 times.
Wow!
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'll
I'm
cheers to
so
that.
fucking proud. I mean, it takes
I'm gonna
hours and
cheers to
hours.
that.
Cheers. Mm-hmm.
So we are, well, I was inspired by her. Well, it's morning in Singapore now. We're having gin breakfast. By the way, Bunny is in Sydney.
Yeah, so I'm having gin lunch. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's amazing. Now, I can't remember if I done nine, at least not to mine that I could recall. Maybe close, but
Oh,
not.
that day was on purpose. That day I had a mission, right? I'm like, I'm gonna see how many fucking times. I got my water on the side, I had my energy bar, I was ready. I'm like, I'm not moving
So this
away
is
from
this
my
is
bed.
masturbation, not with someone.
No, just masturbating by myself.
Ah, okay,
I
okay,
want to see
okay.
how many times I can do it. Mhm.
Love it, love it.
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, was I hella chafed afterwards? Yes, I was hella chafed, but like, yeah,
You do
that's a
get
lot of
so
fun.
tired, isn't it? I'll fall asleep sometimes.
Oh yeah. That's a great time to, like, you release a lot of happy hormones, right? You got endorphins, you got like what you call it, melatonin, where you like eases you and less stress. And honestly, this is so weird. I usually try to masturbate if I have a cold or flu.
Nice.
And it takes longer, right? It does take longer. But after I finish, like, you sweat it out, like my nose is all clear, whatever, I'm no longer like as uncomfortable, like temperature goes down. Yeah, it just like, it's like a secret remedy that, I don't care. Like, I mean, the science behind it, when I remember to Google, I would, but all these years, I just always freaking forget to check it when I remember it. But it works every single time for me. When I have a cold or flu, it
I
makes it better.
believe you. I do believe you. Sometimes when if I feel low, when I feel low, anxious, or maybe even sick, I'm bored, and you are sick, you're sick, right? But I don't like, and it's part of human experience, emotions. We're up and down. But I'm like, but I try to always bring myself to vibrate higher intentionally. So one of it, that's what I'll do. So high five.
Mm. Yay!
Yeah.
I promise I washed my hands before I high five you.
That's so funny. Yeah. Here's another thing I feel like I used to a long time ago when I'm younger, where I'm a little bit more conscious about sex, how to perform, because we've seen so many things, like you said, this romance novel, pornography, or the definition of all the what the celebrities, what we see on social medias. So you needed to be in certain way. However, as I shifted more to being more authentic to myself, as I love myself more, and I could ground myself in my own self, my own energy, that's when I could actually, I'm more confident, and I could actually come easier. But that's just me. Like, I feel one of the things is being comfortable with ourselves, um,
Mhm.
and being more relaxed and more open, and then you can receive. And I applied it for everything in my life. When I'm more relaxed, I'm able to receive.
Oh, I'm more fluid in that sense. Like, I would, whenever I feel the mood strikes me, I'd be like, okay, masturbate. Or sometimes I'm just bored. I'll just be like, I'm bored. I'm gonna play with myself.
Yeah.
So I don't have a set mood to masturbate. Let me think about that. No, not really. I can do it when I'm calm. I can do it when I'm
Okay.
anxious.
What I said was more when I'm with men. Like for masturbation, I do it on my time, anytime. But when with a man, I find that um when I'm more relaxed, no expectation, I come in just with me wherever, and then that's when that is I teach myself how to be able to come. So by relaxing,
Huh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Oh,
So
oh, do you know if you can squirt or not?
no, I don't that. I mean, I wish, I fantasize about it. I still, and I do know that just like coming, squirting is not for everybody. I read about it, not so much. It's not something like top of my list, but it's nice to experience. Do you have any tips on it? What
Oh
do
no, I have
you?
no idea where's my button when it comes to squirting. With some partner I could, with others I couldn't.
Hmm.
And I have no idea how that shit works. Cause like technically when the penis hitting that spot, right? My finger's not in there to try to figure out exactly which spot that person's hitting. to squirt. But like, I remember the first time I did that, I shocked the shit out of me. I was just like, wait, did I just pee on myself? Like, but it really is different. I have read a lot of people going like, debating is squirting peeing. It really isn't. It's just a clear liquid. Like, I mean, would you squeeze a little pee out when you squirt? It's possibility, but it is a very different consistency of liquid and very different, I guess, gland that's pushing it out. But yeah, uh, I see like in porn, some girls can just do it and just like touch one spot and just like river. I cannot do that. No idea what the fuck it is, but it's interesting. Every now and then I shock myself.
Love it.
Hmm.
That's great. I mean, like I personally have never experienced that, but I'll make it up with other things.
So for sex, are you a toy user or not a toy user?
Not so much, to be honest. I mean, like
Mhm.
I've I've actually never bought one for myself. I'm open to it. I mean, I have one which is this is actually not a toy. It's someone massage, but this was my younger days. Like I'm very, very young. I was still in school. But the massage thing looks like the shape of that. So I used that. And then when, as an adulthood, I was
Oh,
given
the magic wand. You got
something
the
like that.
magic wand.
Yeah. And then and adulthood, I have a bunny. Again, I didn't buy it, but because I had like made a breakup, like this, the worst breakup ever I had. So bless my friend, a good friend of mine, she's like, don't be sad. I know you had great sex with him, but here's your bunny to make up for it. So I still have the
Well,
bunny.
everybody needs a bunny.
Yeah. So yeah, just that. Otherwise, I never, although I did thought of um, maybe stomach get one, just to venture more. I generally just use my own resources. How about you? I know you told me that some of your toys, you even broke some of your toys.
Yeah. I have a couple of them that just couldn't take it before the warranty, that I sent it back to the factory and get my full refund coming back. In my head, like, you should I also hinted in the email. I'm like, you should just use me as a tester to see how long the fucking
What
some
do
of
you
this shit
say?
lasts. No, they
You
didn't
know
come back
what,
positive, but it's
actually,
okay.
which I just remind, actually, I will recommend you to company because they actually 2 years ago they emailed me because they I had a different platform, a talking platform, where I interviewed them, and then they actually want me to be their tester. So I said I can't.
Do
But
that, do that.
yeah, I will introduce you. You'll be perfect. Yeah, and another thing that I'm
Well, speaking of vibrator,
yes, yes.
I'll insert a very fun story that happened not too long ago, like last year. It's so fucking funny. So I carry my little bullet, like my little vibrator everywhere, right? It's quite small. It has a little pouch, whatever, and I travel with it. So I was over in South America, and I was at the Mexico airport, right? At New Mexico. Wait, not New Mexico, Mexico City.
Mm.
And it was late, it was nighttime, I'm freaking exhausted. I had to check back into the gate. So I'm already very irritable and just want to get through, right? I mean, and everybody around, everybody speaks Spanish, not so much English at all. And at that time, since I'm so exhausted, I do speak like intermediate Spanish, but like
Oh
at
wow.
that point, like I was just not ready for that. So all the security guard and the airport employee at that entrance are all female except this one male. Okay. So they're checking over my bag and they found this one pen that I got, right? The pen looked like a lipstick. So she's using her limited English. She's like, what is? I'm like, pen. Then I'm like, what is pen? Oh yeah, boligrafo, right? I'm like, it ballpoint pen. And she's like, show me, because it looked like a lipstick. It have a cap on. So she gave it to me to show her. I'm like, open the cap. I'm like, look, it's a pen. So look, it can write. I'm like, escribe aquí, you know, like it's a pen, right? Gracias, put it back. I'm like, okay, dámelos. Okay. And then she's going through my bag. And you know, like when they say, like, don't put batteries in your, you know, luggage, right? The check-in luggage. So I have it in my bag. And I forgot my vibrators in there because it is a battery, right? So she took out that pouch. I'm like, don't touch it. I'm like, you don't want to take it out. And again, at that point, I'm like, how do I say don't touch it? It like toca, you know, in Spanish. I'm like trying to figure out, I'm trying to remember. And she opened the pouch and took out my vibrator, right? And I was like, it's a vibrator. I don't know the Spanish word for vibrator. I haven't learned that vocabulary yet. And I'm like, vibrator. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her. And I'm like, no, I'm like, now I have to clean it because she grabbed it. I don't want her to touch it, right? Even though, yes, it's clean. And then she looked at me and just handed it to me and go, show me. I'm like, no, I am not showing you before you buy me dinner. Like, I'm not doing here. I'm in the middle of an airport. I'm not about to show you how a fucking vibrator works, right? And I'm looking around to just me because it was like 2 a.m. There's nobody else around. I'm like, this is fucking hysterical. Too bad I cannot share this moment with another person, right? And out of everybody, the guy security is the only person who looked at her and said something in Spanish, I guess a vibrator, in no, explain what it is, right? And she go, oh. And then she put it back in the bag and give it to me. I'm like, I fucking told you not to touch it, right? I'm like, all right, now I have to clean the shit out of that thing, but oh well. But I'm just like, yeah, like all the female there's at least like 8 of them, 6 or 7, yeah, no, 8 of them. Nobody know that's a vibrator. That's
Wow.
a problem, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, not a problem, but that's
Wow.
shocking to
Yeah.
me that as much as, like, you know, in my circle, I'm very freely chatting about sex and sexuality with my friends. You forget, like, there are actually a lot of people, probably majority, who never even seen the vibrator before, know what it does, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm just like, ooh, that was interesting. Yeah, I'm like, that goes down into my airplane travel story.
Look, I have my friends who've been living overseas that told me they've never masturbated. So I imagine if they've never masturbated, they wouldn't even have seen what is the toy, you know. And when I told them it's perfectly okay to masturbate, they actually will cringe like, oh no. And I think because one could be religion, two, I think it's masturbating is, you know, is being categorized as something bad. Do you know what I mean? As,
I know, isn't that sad? Like, you were say ill about something about your own body. For
yeah,
me, it's like, it's your body, every part of your body. Like, I don't care if it's like, you know, farting, shitting, pooping. These are just all regular shit we do. It's part of being human, right? You
100%.
know, and a lot of these things, like, we've been told to literally, we should feel embarrassed about. Like, our own hand touching our own body should be
Yeah.
embarrassed about. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
they go like yuck, you know, yucky, something like that.
you know, I'm like, why is it yucky? I don't understand, why is it yucky if it's you, right?
What advice?
Why are you not, like, why can you not accept every part of yourself, kind of deal?
That's so
Yeah.
true. See, I'm a huge believer of accepting the complete human experience, and I always focus on emotions, the good, the bad,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the uncomfortable and not. However, when I speak to you a few days ago, um, you actually bring more awareness to me on accepting. I mean, although I do accept my, you know, my body, but I didn't actually realize it consciously how the complete human experience that includes also focusing on accepting fully our body and the experience of it, which includes masturbation, you know, and includes all the imperfection.
Yeah. I think it's even harder for generation these days because you grew up with social media, grew up with this polished view of what a standard human should look like, that makes you even more not accepting of your own unique individuality. I hope, like, just like all of us, little by little, you get to learn, what part of societal rules or what part of image you choose to accept, and what part you choose to go like, you know what, I can see people doing that, but you know what, I'm gonna love myself anyways, all part of myself. Does that mean like every single part of me that I'm gonna go like, it's perfect and I don't think I need to look a certain way? No, I'm also affected by that, right?
Yes.
But I am, always trying to work. I'm like, as much as like I have things I don't like about me, I'm good. Like it's little by little. Nothing is going from 0 to 100 and go like everything's
Agree.
perfect. It's always a work in progress. It's always like matter of change. I might think one way now, and later I'm gonna think something else, and it's all
Absolutely.
fine. It's just all part being you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I also like the part that's when I was speaking to you, you were saying about so uh, you are open in your preference, right? You have a partner, and then
Yeah.
yeah, you have partner, but ethically, and it's an agreement that you could be seeing other people, right?
Yeah, I'm both polyamorous and pansexual. So yes, that's a new term. Yes, I do agree. There's so many categorized things these days that it put my head into spin too. But pretty much polyamorous means both party consensual with your partner, that you can have multiple partners, physical or emotional. And pansexual means female, male, fine. If you're drag queen, if you're trans, if you're cross-dressing, anything in between are all fine.
Love
Like
it.
I just like cool people with cool personalities. Like if you have good humor, makes me laugh, and I really like eyes. I like pretty eyes, and yeah, like
You like mine.
hey, come over. Well, it takes you longer. You're in Singapore right now, so like if
I
you can hop
know.
on the plane.
You're last on my list. I'm joking. I'm very monogamous. However, like recently, I've thought of I'm monogamous. And admittedly, I was against um polygamy. I was against people having multiple partner. But recently, the more I'm embracing acceptance is my word of the year, and even starting last year, acceptance and tolerance. And the more I'm just thinking, like, what if really we are not for some of us really not meant to have just one partner? Like, wouldn't it actually, if you have an ethical relationship and then you find someone that that aligns with you, then technically then you're not cheating on anyone. No one feels cheated because you have this healthy relationship where
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my feel on that is exactly. It's really not about like if there's a right way to have a relationship or a wrong way. Same thing with sexual preferences. It's not like right way, wrong way. It's like you are finding another being that share the same value with you.
correct,
There's like it's about compatibility and about communication,
correct,
not about like which one is superior. Because yeah, I have many friends go like, I can never do polyamorous.
yeah,
Totally get it. But for me, it's just like I try monogamy, right? It really is not my thing. I don't feel that way. I always like use analogy of food. My favorite food category, I love Thai food and I love Japanese food. But sometimes I will go for a steak, and other time when I get hungry, I'm gonna go for that hot dog cart, and that hot dog tastes pretty fucking good. Or I'm just gonna be hungry, I need something, right? But that doesn't make Thai food, Japanese food any less, you know?
absolutely.
And like the other day, we went to a boat party, and past midnight when we come off the dock, all I want is McDonald's chicken nuggets. So I did that, right? You know, yeah, shit just happens. It's just like again, the whole thing was like societal rule, There are ones, of course,
It's
do
our
not harm
conditioning, isn't
yourself
it?
and harm others. I get that, right?
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, there's some stuff, it's just really about, that's how commonly people do it. It's a guideline. And it's really up to you if you want to follow that guideline. It's like, oh, I kind of like that guideline, sure. Or go like, oh, but the other way people doing it sounds fun too, let me try it. And you might try and go like, no, not my thing, cool. And you might try and go like, you know what, that's actually okay. You know, I'm not fully there yet mentally or whatever, but either I can continue trying it, or maybe on a later stage. We don't always have to like click on like that. There's so many part of my sexual preferences. It's like learn as you go. Like example, BDSM, right? I wasn't born liking BDSM. I get introduced little
Yeah,
by
I was
little.
gonna
And if
ask you,
I
this
would
is my
have a,
next question
yeah,
actually about, I want to
yeah.
talk about BDSM. I personally am not educated in that, so I am excited for you to talk about BDSM. As I remember, as what you told me, actually, you are the one who introduced to your partners on BDSM.
Yeah, it's so funny. Because like, I mean, polyamorous too. I mean, he had previous polyamorous relationship as well, but usually so far all my relationships, I'm the one who introduced that first. I usually say it really early in the beginning. I'm like, hey, by the way, you know, like liking each other. Why am I losing my voice today? So liking each other, by the way, I'm poly. Like I don't want to settle down with just one person. And if you're not okay with that, that's complete fine. And if you want to try it out now, see if you're okay with it, and turn out not okay, that's fine too. But if you would like to continue this, like just know that. And like communication is such a like a strong thing, right? And with the BDSM, if I would have gotten like the level I have now when I first, you know, start sexual experience, it would definitely frighten, scare, or scar me for life. That's for sure. Yes. My first one, like light, that still count as a BDSM stage, is when I was had I think it was just a one night stand, and he put his hand on my neck, he choked me, right? And
Like
it
choking
wasn't
really hard
consented.
or just a little?
Mm, a little. It wasn't consented, but
Is
I
pulling
remember
hair
going like,
considered as
oh,
BDSM?
shocking, but I didn't dislike it, huh?
Sorry, is pulling hair is considered as BDSM?
No, it's playing rough. Even like
Just for
choking,
BDSM.
it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
Because it goes a bit more to the you need to like really be careful how you do it kind of stage. It's a gray area. It can still be playing rough, right? But it's like the beginning. Like it's a BDSM light. The light beer of, right? So I
Free
remember like
version.
going like, yeah. I remember like wasn't consented, but like I did not dislike it. So little by little, I just get more and more into that. I went to like the so there's like community called Fet Life, FET, like fetish life. So it would be described as Facebook for kink community, you know?
Ooh.
So like the platform
Is
even
that
looked the same.
is that on Facebook or where is it?
No. It's the website, Fet
Oh,
Life, FETLIFE.
okay.
And yeah, you can find a king party in your area. I mean, back in New York, there's a lot more parties than here in Sydney. In Sydney, I haven't really been a venture out much because I came here a year and a half ago during pandemic. So I'm still kind of careful in
Yeah.
big crowds. Like, you know, I mean, I go everywhere already, but like just this gets more intimate, right? And also everywhere that we need to like start building back in the community because the life event has been like, you know, dying out left and right, and now everything start slowly coming back. But anyways, I remember the first time going to a BDSM party. And it was really cool, the community in New York, because they have a tradition of like everybody meet up at a diner, like have dinner before going to the party. So you get to see people in their, you know, like natural light, you know, it's like there's not scary. Everybody's super like, you know, understanding. very much into like, hey, play short, but play safe with consent. Remember safe words. It's so welcoming. It's so non-stressful. It really takes the edge off. And I remember sitting with a couple of newbies on the bench, like just watching everything that's going on and going like, ha, 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 penis, ha, 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 boobies, just like being such a kid and seeing like naked people in fetish wear walking around doing all type of kink stuff. They like, like spanking and like rope bondage and like all type of like violet wand, which is like electric pulse, right? It's like you get like little buzz and shock, like it's like sensual play. It's like all different, and it's just a very well, at least the community I was in, a very consensual and very safe and very welcoming place.
So would you advise, I mean, like for some for people who, I'm sure I'm not the only person who's curious about BDSM, but for those that who wants to try BDSM, would you say, it's important to find a safe environment?
That's always sex too,
Always,
like
yeah.
anything, right? Even if you masturbate, you want to be in a safe environment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I
advice
don't.
for someone who's new that wants to try BDSM, for example? To begin with, why don't you give us a very brief description? What is BDSM actually to the audience that may not even know what's BDSM?
So it's bondage, uh, uh, dominant, submissive, and masochistic. I think those are the four. So I guess like I would use the Chinese concept yin yang, right? You know that symbol is like
Yeah, yin and yang.
the circle white with a black dot and the black part with a white dot. You have a light and darker side of you, right?
Absolutely.
So I would see it like there are people who are even in a couple. One would be more submissive and one would be more dominant,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the balance could be very subtle, but usually it's there. I don't care if it's gay couple, I don't care if straight couple, I don't care if it's whatever couple, because like it only makes sense, right? Like everything's like if somebody do it better, of course the other person do a little less, that has nothing to do with like, you cannot share responsibility. I'm just saying usually one is more dominant and louder than the other one. And it's all about control and letting go of control. So a lot of times submissive is just like, oh, it's almost more, I guess, demanding because you're giving away control, but ultimately you should have to say how much you want and how much you go for. So as much as the dominant party, like the one who's being the master and the one who's being the daddy, is dominating over you, but a good partnership, that person should really listen to you and what you want and how far to go. All right. So you kind of hold the key to that. So it's a very interesting tango of emotions and plays. And no, will everybody do it like right the first time? Probably not. It's little by little. But do some research, do some homework, understanding like what could go wrong, how far you can go, and what is your I guess your own limit and how to set your own boundary is so important. Just because you're in a play or in a fantasy thing or trying a new thing, understand at any point, even if you consented before and you feel uncomfortable, I don't even know, 2 minutes into it, understand stopping and stopping. Understand that partner shouldn't be pouting, shouldn't be no, you didn't feel comfortable. It is all fine. So establish that place before you start venturing
Boundaries, would
into
you say?
boundary. Yeah, and for both sides, because for dominant side, maybe at one point like hurting you, doesn't get them off. It just get you off, and maybe they feel very uncomfortable doing that. It's so much communication is needed to make it the best experience for you. It's a lot of trusting. And of course, there's also, the kink on the stranger. But again, there's a lot of different sectors.
Does BDSM necessarily means it has to be a stranger?
No. Just one of the kink could be. It could be that you like the whole humiliating things, but with strangers. That could be a kink. It's there are people who like getting watched by other people, right?
So
It's
BDSM
all a different
doesn't
kink.
just mean more those most rougher sexual act.
Usually it does, but a dominant act could be very different. You can be dominant over, like a dominatrix could be dominant over you on just words. And there's actually money dominatrix, which is very interesting. She like that dominant person will be dominant over your expenses and your money.
What?
That's also dominance and also kink. This world.
This got
That's
nothing to
why I
do
love the
with
sex topic so much. There's so much in there. So much.
You mean the money dominance is also part of sex?
It's a kink. It's a turn on.
Oh wow.
For some people.
Oh.
So just like, you've been a bad boy. Like, I want you to buy me a product now. Because it could be a stressful thing, like keep on spending money as well. And that stress gets translated to excitement, gets translated into,
Isn't
that interesting?
Very interesting.
There's so much in there.
Interesting. Very cool. So what I wanted to say as well, how do you actually perceive? I mean, you love sex so much, we all do. I mean, that sometimes like for us, like being comfortable being ourselves. I mean, women like me and you, we are quite outspoken and quite confident in our own ways. And then we could speak and express ourselves vocally and even in our words or even our clothing easier than some girls. I'm sure you've experienced it like me, where somehow some people feel that it gives them the permission to be rude to you or to hit on you in a rude way, like send you kind of like messages, like not ideal messages, that is like out of the boundaries where you should be respectful of a woman. What do you say about that? I mean, like, if
that sucks, right? Because again, like, I like to talk about sex topic. I don't like, it's one of those like very easy topic that can just get into. You can be talking about drains and talk about party and talk about this girl's dress or that guy's pants, and little by little it goes to sexuality and goes to sex, right? And for me, it's the topic is not because like you're a guy I'm interested in. It can just be a good conversation with a person that you interested in talking to. I mean, of course, if somebody like I find them like appalling, like I'm just like your attitude sucks, I kind of don't want to talk to you. That's different. But yeah, it because like going that freely about sexuality is very taboo. People do get the wrong signal. To be fair, to play devil's advocate, on the other side, for guys' side, it kind of sucked too, right? Because you don't experience that, you will think that's a signal. And if you see it as a signal, it will be weird to just go, hey, by the way, is this a signal? You're gonna start trying to test, it's a cat and mouse kind of deal, right? Does that give them permission to try it rudely? No, not at any time. It doesn't matter what you say, it shouldn't be rude, and it should be like come with respect. But if they trying, it's a gray area depending on what you think. But for me, it's just like, all right, if I feel them like coming on back to me, because they think my behavior is a come on, and I'm not welcoming that, I probably will do something to nip it at the butt. Again, not try to be rude or whatever, but just like body language, getting a drink, whatever. Because a lot of time I still don't really know the exact way to how to do it. Because for a lot of female, I know for you to turn a guy down, sometimes you get very nasty response back. Even just like, oh, no, thank you. You get somebody go, bitch. Right? It's like, but it's not about you. It's really about that person never learned to deal with rejection.
Very great point.
And it's their own problem to deal with. Doesn't mean it makes it any like more annoying or hurtful on your side. but it really is more about them than it's about you. And because like most guys are bigger than female, stronger than female, yeah, there is things like if I turn that guy down, will he do something bad to me? So yeah, for females, like unfortunately, as much as we're trying to get ourselves to get balanced but not equal, you know, because like there's a whole saying like, oh, like a man and woman, you know, if you want equal, you should be doing the same thing. No, we're built differently, right? It's all about the balance of like we all get the rights that we deserve, not about like everything had to be exactly the same. That's two different concepts, right? But if I show somebody basic respect, then I'm expecting that back, right?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's right. I don't think necessarily there is anything at the moment I can think of we could do about it. It's fucking annoying. But a little by little, maybe more people have talked about this, like on your podcast is right now, and more people, more guys or females can hear it and go like, oh, I guess there are people who just fucking like to talk about it to talk about it, not
Yeah.
necessarily trying to give you any kind of
Yeah. It's
hint.
like when
So
whatever you talk about your favorite things.
yeah, exactly. I guess
And
like the openness and the more educated everybody about themselves and about this topic, and hearing more girls and guys for different perspective. Like I said, it is definitely not easy for guys either, because of course if you're interested talking to a girl, you will want that to be a common as well, you know.
it's
So
so
yeah,
true because
uh,
that's so true because like for me, the moment if someone say to me, it makes me scared. Like it kind of make me withdraw. Like I feel, oh, he just wanted something like a piece of me. So that is correct. Like I guess if it's the first conversation and people speak to me like hinting me like sexually, it scares me because I've got some past traumas. So yeah, I think there's a certain, I think it's subjective. It depends on where you are. Like I
it really
personally,
does.
yeah, like I personally, I don't talk sexual stuff just with random strangers, maybe with my close friends, unless we are in some parties. However, I personally will get messages, not every day, but often enough, even in professional platform where I didn't speak, all I thought, I always thought left, right, center, I always talk about my work because I'm passionate about my work. However, I don't know, is it the way I dress, of the energy I exude? It somehow gives them this permission to, start asking me, how sensual are you? I'm like, dude, we are in LinkedIn. We just talk about possible collaboration, blah, blah, blah. That is just so wrong. And then they start telling me this is so important to me. Then I'm like thinking, you're not even my type. Why are you telling me
Dude, somebody's hitting you up on LinkedIn. That's a
so
little
many
sus.
times?
Like,
And I find it
yeah,
so
no.
rude. Yeah, rude because which part of me gives you the permission? And I spoke to someone, to a guy, like I can't say he's my friend, but kind of like acquaintance, like, or I almost collaborated with, because he said and we had some common grounds. But when I told him, this is the struggle that I have, and I know it's not just my struggles, it's like struggles where a lot of girls that kind of like girls are similar like me will experience. Like we spend half our time dissecting who's genuinely trying to connect with me for a genuine reason, and who actually trying to hit on me or get under my skirt. And it's tiring. It's really tiring. Like I think people forget, like the more respectful you are, the more turn on actually a lot of girls would be. um and
You know, like that's so funny because like there's so many of those workshops that's like, oh, how to talk to a girl, whatever, right? And most of these are run by other guys to guys. And I'm looking at that. Shouldn't this run by females to guys? Because you're trying to talk to other female. Don't you want a bunch of female telling you, hey, yeah, you say this, I'm fine with. You say that, some of us fine with, some of them not. You say this, most likely none of us like it.
I
And then just
love that.
I just see like macho guy telling other macho guys uh, how to talk to girls. I'm like, not that, you know, guys shouldn't teach guys. I'm just looking at them just like, that's kind of counterproductive. You know what I'm saying? Who say I want just
Love
one
it.
type of guy? Like every girl's different and every guy is different. Some girls just like shy guys, right? So now you do tell this guy to do pickup lines and trying to be confident when you really not, and you really in the setting that you guys want to get to know people more before you open up, and make the guys who are shy or who, you know, does things differently thinking that there's something wrong with them. There isn't. You just didn't find the partner that you want to click with, you know. So I find that like, yeah, very interesting. Don't have time to delve into that group yet, because there's so many things I'm interested in, I like to delve into. But whenever I see an ads come across my Instagram, I'm just like, huh, you should really be advertising like, you know, we're gonna have a panel of girls from all different area and talk about different topics. Maybe that's a very interesting, if you're gonna have a live event, that would be very fun
I
to
would love
like just
to.
have female male different perspectives, you know.
I would love to. And I will
Mhm.
definitely have you on it. I actually had before a panel discussion that my first panel discussion on living authentically, and this would probably be the next one. Absolutely, yeah.
If you're gonna do a series, I want one on dick pics, because like I want to know even from the sender part, right? Because most of us don't react to that. So I would like to know, when you send it, right? What do you expect? Or is that a kink, right? So the fact that you send it turns you on, or the fact that you think about the other person is reacting certain way that turns you on, right? I'm so curious what's the information behind that. Because for me, when I get one of those, I'm just like, oh, because I'm in marketing. So I'm just like, oh, that's bad lighting. I mean, you could have just turned on the light. Like I can't even make out the shape.
I just
Like what do
had
you, like I don't know what size that is. I'm like, wait, is this wait, like which angle is that? Like I start analyzing it as it was doing like a marketing
I
background.
just had yesterday, not a dick pic, but somebody sending me like his super hunk body topless, and I've never seen him before. Like he's trying to ask me out for a dinner, but I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to rush. I need to think about it. And he's like, oh, I just finished gym, and he sent me this picture. Then I'm like, I'm not sure what's the purpose of you sending me this picture.
He said dinner, so that's dinner.
I'm like, you might want to send to Bunny. That's a
No,
preference.
please no, no, it's okay.
No, I know.
I'm okay with that.
So I said, so I said, and he said, oh no, the only reason I'm sending you so that you know I'm not a scam. Dude, like seriously. So I said,
See, okay. To be fair, since we are on the topic that we both like to talk about, you know, sex shit, and then people think that we're common, right? You have to also give him the benefit of doubt, right? That maybe he is just showing you that's not a scam, and he is proud of his body. It
he's
could be
super
that
proud
way.
of his
It
body.
could, it could, right? So like, you know, on the other way around, if so far at this point he has been respectful and saying stuff that's like, oh, okay, cool, like, you know, and just showing you at the gym that he's
This is the
something
first
proud
time
of,
I speak to
fine,
him.
you know.
You know, like I can, you know what I mean? I can understand if we progress. I'm like, first time I'm speaking to you, send me a, it's a little bit, I'm like, oh, like I perceive it as that's your selling point, not appealing. And I told him actually a lot of scammers and do this. Then he's like, okay, I will not do it again. So I'm like, go out is someone that I perceive it as not very intellectual. So I am actually very attracted to people who are intellectual. If someone wants to ask me on a date and send me your bloody body that you work so hard on, maybe it works for some, but for me, you can't be that intellectual to send me on a first conversation your body. But that's just for me. Like no, there's no right or wrong. But I just not just not intellectual. I find that disrespectful.
You're like, yeah, I can't see how smart you are from those nipples. Like move the nipples, like let me see your theories.
Like I feel speak 10 more sentences at least, or maybe second conversation. If like third line, all you could offer me is like, hello, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I just finished my gym. I took a selfie of his body. I'm like, don't you have any other content selling point?
It will be funny, like, he's showing your body and have a watch. I'm like, I'm just showing you the time. Oh, the muscle, it's just by accident. I'm just showing you what time it is. And my new watch.
Like almost, I feel it might come from a place of lack of self-esteem. Like you, again,
Could.
sorry?
I said could.
Yeah.
Is it a possibility? Sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Benny. I could be talking to you forever, which I will. I will definitely be inviting you. We've already planned. I'm going to talk to Bunny's partner as well, and I'm also going to bring them together in one of the episodes so that we can have a deeper look on how actually polyamory, anyway, non-monogamous,
Polyamorous. Yeah.
it's not as bad as we've all thought about it. And I'm saying this coming from someone who's super monogamy and had, like most people, is like against the idea of this. However, I realize, admittedly, because I sat, meditate, and really did a deeper look deeply into myself. I realized, for me personally, I'm afraid to approve non-monogamy because it comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of, I'm afraid if I approve openly non-monogamous relationship, then I'm technically allowing my partner to be doing that. However, because as I progress, loving myself and being more accepting, I realized no, and that's almost a selfish point of view. It's actually, well, if I'm monogamous, then bloody find somebody that aligning to me. However, I actually find it more liberating for myself that I come to a place where I find it very refreshing, and I actually agree and find it amazing that these people could live in their truth, and I will always vouch for that. People should live in their truth, and as long as they live ethically, why not?
Yeah, like I don't even know why you say you're not intellectual. So
I didn't say
you're
I'm not
very intellectual.
I didn't say I'm not
Didn't you say like you're not intellectual, that's why you want to find somebody intellectual? Or did you say you are intellectual, you want to find somebody intellectual?
I didn't say anything about intellectual. I'm like, no, nothing about that. Where does it come from? No, I didn't say about that. No, I'm saying,
good. Okay.
I realized it comes from a place of insecurity. That's why I didn't approve of non-monogamous, and I said that I can't remember, but anyway, I didn't say not intellectual. Without any being considered, I think I'm smart. Like actually bloody smart.
You're very smart. Yes.
Thank you so much.
I agree.
I did say I find intellectual very appealing. Like I'm attracted for with people who are intellectual because I have certain level of intellectual. It is very frustrating if I talk to people that's not intellectual. Or like you don't have to know everything. I think intellectual also includes wanting to know more of what you don't know. That's
so important. Like it's okay that you don't know, but like when to open your mouth and when to shut up and listen, kind of deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like
I have a lot of things that I don't know what I don't know, and I'm very well aware of it. And everything, like even the stuff I'm expertise on, you can always find a different view. You can always like weigh it out and change it, or find the reason why you stand in your own ground for something.
Exactly.
It's such a fun game.
Exactly. Like I think that's why I'm attracted to you. I think I'm attracted to people that have so much to offer and confident in their skin, and yet also wants to learn some more. And I mean, I find it so humbling that we want to learn from each other. No one is better than another. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. So to sum it up, today, Bunny, and it's been such a great honor to have you with me on our podcast. And I've learned a lot of our conversation, and I'm sure our audience too. To sum it up, what is it? Masturbation should be embraced.
Try it.
Yeah, try it, exactly. Should be embraced. I mean, unless you're religious, then I'm not here to talk about what religion, disallow certain things. However, if it's because shame or whatever reason, no. We are here to say you should explore your own body. Like, why not? Why give permission for everybody to explore your body, and not yourself? Always put yourself first, and whatever you do, whether it's for your own body, whether it's a monogamous relationship, BDSM, do everything with safety. Make sure everything aligns to your own well-being, your values, and you feel safe. As long as you are in a safe space and you feel that person emotionally make you feel safe, knock yourself out. Right? And
knock yourself out is a really, really good slogan for masturbation.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 doctors agree.
And also, being non-monogamous or liking to talk about sex or liking masturbation or whatever doesn't make anyone a bad person. It's just preferences, it's just, as long as they're happy, as long as it's not affecting their well-being, do whatever you have to do, and let's all not judge, and let's all embrace one another, support one another, and keep exploring. Be curious and keep exploring, especially on those aspects that we were told not right. Like, I believe we have so much to unlearn and relearn.
I believe judge with an open mind. I mean, we all
Absolutely.
judge, right? We all have perception when we see somebody. We're gonna have that first thing, but with an open mind, like, understand that your first view of somebody might or might not be right. Like, nothing is chiseled in stone. So, like, it's human nature to judge right away. It's all fine, right? But it's like, are you gonna make that judgment the final say? Or are you going to give this an open mind? Like, oh, I might or might not be right about this. Or it might or might not be the same or different, right? Yeah.
Yes. Also, having this, just because I have this podcast where we talk so openly, where it's a little bit different than the rest of my podcast. However, it's still about, my podcast is all about embracing the complete human experience. And I like to talk about subjects that are less talked upon. And here's a reminder, please remember, this does not gives you the permission to start messaging us or looking, with disrespectful messages. However, this is an invitation for you to be more open and to dive deep and think deeper into the perspective we put out here. And yeah. And thank you so much, Bunny. Is there anything you would like to say to our audience before we part?
Yeah, when I get to Singapore, I want to eat chili crab.
Love it. I will take you there. Yes.
Yeah, that's a promise, right? Okay.
100% promise. Only my favorite is black pepper, but that's a promise. I will take you. Yeah.
I'm hungry already. Yay! Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
My great pleasure. So if anyone wants to find Bunny, she's everywhere. However, the easiest to find her is on Instagram at So Bunny. That's SOO Bunny, BUNNY. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, everyone.
SOO. Funny.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. I will put more details on the podcast. This is Bunny Yan, and I'm Rihanna Yusuf. Thank you for listening. I look forward to see you guys again, to see all of you. See you. Bye.
Bye. Mwah.
Mwah.